Well, Confessions of a Content Creator. This tag has been around for a while, and for the life of me, I don't know who started it. I've tried to sort of find out by watching more of them to see who actually started this little tag. But since the first one I saw, I thought, you know what? I want to do that tag because I think even though you may have seen others do this tag, you just don't know what my answers are going to be to these questions, and they may be different. So let's just jump right into this tag. I have my questions, and let's just get right into them, shall we? By the way, this is Patty, rxstrmom, and welcome to my channel. Whether you're new, brand spanking new, or maybe you've been around for a long time or just recently, you are so welcome at this channel. This whole channel is just about everything that we go through as we age and trying our best, or at least I'm trying my best, to embrace this aging as it comes and just grow every day, or continue to grow every day. All right, let's just get to the first question. And by the way, I haven't looked at these in about a week. I saw this tag a week ago from someone, and that's when I decided to do it. And I, on purpose, did not go back and look at the questions because I want to look at it, read it to you, and just off of the top of my head tell you what my answer would be if I can answer it. So number one, how do you feel about the term influencer, and do you feel you are one? Okay. Influencer to me means someone who obviously influences someone to either buy something, or to look a certain way, or to do a certain thing, or to live their life a certain way. And it doesn't necessarily have to be here on YouTube, but you are influencing one or more people to do something that they might not ordinarily do, or maybe they would. They just need that little push. And do I feel that I am one? I would like to say no. That I don't. Well, I think another definition of influencer might be that I'm well known enough, my channel is big enough, that I would reach a lot of people and could possibly influence their decision-making process. But my channel's not that big, and I don't see myself as that big. And I think from day one, I have said to you when I've shown you products, I've said to you, you look at this and you decide for yourself, because I've always said that not everything works for every person. You just have to try it sometimes and see. And yeah. So, I think if I could influence you in any way to do anything, it would be the way I sign off all of my videos and just ask you to be kind. All right. Number two. How did you decide to become a content creator? Well, I've said this early on many times, but Amazon Prime days, I'll try to make this very, very short. I retired and had not planned on doing anything, and I'd already been real artsy, craftsy always, and I was making a particular item that I was selling like hotcakes, just to friends and family and people I met, and by referrals. And I don't even want to go into what it was because I no longer do it, and since then it's been like other people have been doing it. But I was doing it, it was so long ago, and my daughter, YouTube was just barely in its infancy, and my daughter, when I retired, she said, "Mom, you need to have a YouTube channel." And I really didn't know what she was talking about. I had sort of heard of YouTube, but I didn't really understand what it was. So I said, "Oh, I don't think so." And 2 or 3 times she said, I said, "Jennifer, I don't even know what it's about." And she said, "Well, Mom, you're so talented with your arts and crafts and the things that you do. You could actually teach people how to do that. That would be something great for you." And I said, "I don't think so. I don't think so." Still didn't understand it. Wish, if I could go back in hindsight, I wish I had taken her up on it. But after I married Jim, I decided that I don't know. I was on looking for something and wound up on YouTube. And would you believe, one of what I came to call my beauty girls was showing eyeshadow. She was much younger than I am. And I thought to myself, well, that looks good, but I don't think that's going to apply to my eyes. She's a whole lot younger than I am. And so I started looking for older, more mature women. I couldn't find anyone. Couldn't find a single one. I found some older women who were doing vegan lifestyles, things like that, but I couldn't find anyone who was strictly geared to the super mature community. And that's when it was like the light bulb went off over my head, and I thought, maybe I could do this, and maybe I do have something to offer. And I talked to her about it again, and I talked to Jim about it, and both said, yes, go for it. Jennifer, I told her that I knew I was going to need her help because I didn't know anything. I had a little camera that I bought off of either QVC or Home Shopping 2 or 3 years before. It was a little red Canon camcorder, the little one that looks sort of like a tube. And I did not even know how to use it. It used an SD card. And Jennifer just said, "You're going to have to figure it out yourself. That's the only way you're going to learn it." And so I figured out how to use that camera, put it on automatic settings, and I filmed my first video. And then I had to figure out how to get it off of that card and onto my computer. And for a long time there, months at least, I didn't know how to edit. So whatever I filmed had to go out to the world. And if you go back and look at some of those very first videos, you'll see how, and like many other new older women who aren't that familiar with computers and how to edit, sometimes we would film that same video over and over and over again until we got it exactly the way we wanted it so that we could send it out to all of the viewers. So it was a very long, drawn-out process for me. I will say that I probably spend more time now editing than I did back then when I was recording the same video over and over and over again, trying to get it perfect. But anyway, that's how I became a content creator. Number 3, what's your experience with knowing other creators in life, good or bad? I've never met another creator in person, but I've gotten to know and become friends with other content creators, and it's just awesome. It really is awesome. It's great to have a sisterhood. And for you viewers, if you've been a long-time viewer, you have sort of figured out a lot of our issues as content creators and our frustrations and our joys in doing it. So you sort of get it. But for the most part, I think only another content creator really understands what really goes on behind the scenes. So it's nice to have someone that you can not only talk with, but maybe to get some help on things. So yeah, Yeah. But I will say, and this is not a question, but sort of relating to that question, more than the content creators, more than getting to know other content creators, I think for me personally is being able to get to know those of you who watch my channel. And I can't tell you now, at this point, I've lost count of how many of you I have met just out and about in my daily life. You've walked up to me and said, "Patty," or "Rockstar Mom, is that you?" And of course, I always say yes. And I just love taking my picture with you. I love being able to mention and show those pictures after I've met someone. So, yeah, that's the best part. In fact, just before we bought our house here in Pensacola and moved from Panama City Beach, Jim and I were in Walmart grocery shopping one day. Well, it was before the pandemic, let me put it that way. So it's been that long ago, but I met Dolores Nash, and she just walked up to me in one of the grocery aisles, and we started talking, and she didn't live far from us, and we had been looking sort of at houses in her neighborhood, and so we had a lot of questions there. But we stayed in touch, and we actually, Dee and her husband and Jim and myself, we went to dinner one night together and just had a ball. It's so nice getting to know you guys. Unfortunately, we moved not long after that, it was the pandemic, and then we moved. So I haven't been able to, obviously, get to see Dee and her husband again. But just things like that. I love it. That's the favorite part. I've met people on cruises in the middle of the Caribbean. Did you hear that funny ringing sound? And it was a funny ringing sound. That was the twins, the twins trying to FaceTime me this morning, or use the portal, the Facebook portal. So let's go on to number 4. This is a good one. Do you accept sponsorships, and how do you feel about them? Yes, I do. Not very many, not very often, but I do. And when I first started my channel, to my knowledge, no one was receiving products from anybody to show. There may have been a few of the really big channels that were receiving a few things, but I certainly wasn't. But I realized early on that there were sister content creators, or YouTubers as we were really calling them back then, who were buying product just to show. And I thought, oh my gosh, they must have an awful lot of money to be able to do that. And it concerned me that I knew it wasn't about whether or not I could do it. I didn't want to do it. So it was back then that I made the decision that I would never buy anything just to show you guys, just to review. I know that over the years there have been content creators who even said they would buy things, show them, and return them. And to me, I just could never do that. That's just not who I am. And those of you who know me know that. But I made up my mind that, as I said, unless I was wanted to try something maybe that I had seen, reviewed, or that I thought would work for me, my rule is I wouldn't accept anything if I was ever offered, unless it was something that I would spend my own money on. And also, I would not do a sponsored video or accept any product that there wasn't a clear understanding that if I didn't like it, I didn't have to review it. Or I could send it back to them. I would just, or I could give a not so flattering review of it. So that was always the understanding that I had, and made sure that in my email communication with that brand, whoever it was, they understood fully that those were my requirements. And I have a little file folder on my computer where I have all of that. Now, and I've said this to other content creators over the years, behind the scenes when we've communicated that, and especially back then, that I was amazed, when brands really did start sending product to content creators. I was just amazed that we, as content creators, were just over the moon to get that product. We were over the moon that we were being sent. We could get in front of you and hold it up. Laid my phone down. Hold it up, tell you everything you could ever want to know about it, say all the nice things about it, and that brand, rather than pay a celebrity a huge amount of money to do an ad for television or magazines, they could send that product out to us. And although we didn't have huge channels, many of us, they could send enough product to each one of us, enough of us, that one product, let me put it that way, that they, and probably reach so many more people, get so many more sales than if they paid that celebrity all of that money. Does that make sense? We were willing to take it and talk about it and educate all, our viewing audience all of the benefits of it. And what we got out of it was that product. What they got out of it was probably thousands and thousands and thousands, who knows, of dollars in sales, if they sent that little product to enough content creators. And they still do it. And I've always said, they're laughing all the way to the bank. They are laughing all the way to the bank. That's why, as content creators, we all get so many emails and offers every single day. I have a hair in my eye. Hold on. That's why we get so many emails every day. We have the old brands, the new brands, the new upstarts, the new products. We're bombarded with emails of people either wanting to send us product to review or to ask us to do sponsorships or brand deals with them. So I went through a period early on, like I think most YouTubers did, and I accepted a lot of things. I still used my rule that it had to be something that I would personally buy. I would have to spend my money on before I would accept it, because you're asked to review. I've been asked to review things I've never even heard of. I didn't know what they were. So yeah, it has to be something that I would buy. And I turned down an awful lot of stuff. I will tell you that I just sent a contract back just this morning. Within the next couple of weeks, you're going to be seeing me do, I'm partnering with a company to do feature, or not to feature, but to show some of their product. And it's a brand that I've used many times, and I was very familiar with it. And so I just, I knew that I would like it, and I knew if I didn't like it, I could let them know, and I didn't have to do the video. So that's that. The FTC is really funny about sponsorships, brand deals, partnerships. And they tell us that we have to reveal, I think either verbally or in the show more box below, that that's a sponsored video, or we can use the word partner. And so there are still creators that I see, and I know they're using, that offer's been made to me. I know that was a partnership, and they never mention it. Nowhere do they mention it. So I know that. I know there's some who evidently are getting by with that. There have been a couple of items that I had watched other content creators review and or do deals with, where they were paid to talk about that product. Partnerships. And the item looked wonderful. The items, let me put it that way, looked wonderful. And so, the brand had contacted me, and based on that, and I knew these creators and trusted these creators, I said yes. And I did everything I was supposed to do legally. I received the product in, and I used it, and I hated it. I hated it. Both of these, I went to the content creator and I said, I have a question. Just be honest with me. You can. Do you really like that? And they both of them said, oh yeah. I would have bought this in a heartbeat. It's worth every penny. I love it. So I know, but it didn't work for me. And I just went back to the brands and said, if you want me to review this, I'll review it, but it's not going to be flattering. But I'll be glad to send it back to you. So both times the brands asked that I not do the review. We just terminated our contract. So, you just, as I said, I'm just not going to review an item that I wouldn't buy myself and that I could give an honest review on. And some of you have said, I've said that in the past, and some of you have said, well, Patty, but we need to know if it's bad. Well, no. You need to know, but you're going to have to figure it out from somebody else. I just, no. If there are so many other people who like a product, then, and if you trust them, then you get it. If you trust the creator, and you want to buy that product, then you buy it if you think it's right for you. But no, I'm just not going to do it. And I don't do very many. Listen, I can make a nice little income. A nice income. Just accepting brand deals and partnerships. But I don't. There is one out there that I will tell you that I have been paying an annual membership to for probably 5 years. And in the last, that's how much I like it and use it. And a couple of years ago, that brand contacted me. They didn't realize I already paid for the service. But they contacted me and wanted to do a partnership with me, and I said no. It was expensive, sort of expensive, and it was a monthly thing, and I just said no, don't want to. There are enough other people out there doing that one, so I didn't. All right, here we go. But listen, we have to, as content creators, we have to recoup some kind of financial. We just have to somehow offset all of our time and energy and money that we spend into getting these videos up to you. We have lighting, we have cameras, we buy a lot of us, buy our own product, and we just need to recoup some of that money. And that's not even talking about our time, the hours it spends. I mean, for most of us, these videos aren't just sit down and start talking into the camera. We have to have some idea of the subject matter and what we want to talk about, and and then the editing and the uploading it to YouTube, and it's very not only expensive but time consuming. And I am all about being paid for the energy and the effort that I put into something, especially when I've been out an awful lot, and I have been, as with most content creators. Number 5, have you had an experience with a brand that left a bad taste in your mouth? I think I answered that one already. Number 6, how do you deal with negative comments? Well, did a video on the first one I ever got where a viewer called me an old grandma, and I thanked her, and I was real happy to be called an old grandma, because in my entire life I had never thought that I would be a grandmother, because Jennifer didn't want to have children. She didn't want to birth children, and she worked all the time and was single, but I married Jim, and he had 2 grandchildren, and oh my gosh, I was fine. I was finally sort of in the grandmother role. The grandmother role, yeah, or a grandmother role. And I loved it. So when she called me an old grandma, is what I think she actually called me, it flattered me. I was tickled pink that I would be called that. So, yeah. And now I have 6. Jennifer has 2. Who knew? But here's what I did back then, and it's what I've always done. Anytime I see a negative comment, I read it. And I immediately delete it, and then I block that person so they can never leave another comment, good or bad or indifferent, on my channel again. They don't hurt my feelings. They don't make me mad when they do it. But I just do not want negativity on my channel. Never have. And so by doing that, I'm hoping that I can get to that comment before any of you see it, because I know you well enough to know that you're going to defend me. You're going to defend me. You're going to fight back and get in the middle of it. And I just don't want it to go there. It's wonderful that you guys would do that, but I got this. I got it. I can handle it. So, yeah, just read it, delete it, block it. That's what I do. And I forgot the most important part, forget it. And I did have just a couple of weeks ago, one of you said, Patty, I think there's, sent me an email and said, I think there's someone maybe soliciting women in your comments. You might want to look at that. And I'm not sure where I was, why I hadn't seen it before then, but as soon as I saw it, that's exactly what I did. And they're gone. So that was how do you deal with negative comments. Number 7, what's your biggest pet peeve when it comes to comments? Well, pet peeves, things that might bother me just a tiny little bit is if I say, the video I just did about the Doll 10 makeup and the powder, their new powder foundation, and compared it to the It. And in my mirror, in my bathroom, the It Cosmetics, I think it was the Celebration Foundation, looks so much better on my skin. So much better. The color was better, everything. But most of you said you liked the Doll 10 better. And I'm going, what do they see that I don't see? And I think, I use this Canon T5i that I'm filming on now. I have that little Canon M50 that I film on. Sometimes I film on my iPhone, and the color's different in all of them. And I never know what I edit on my MacBook Air, so I never know whether you're watching me on a MacBook Air or a Windows computer, a Mac. I mean, not a Mac, but a Windows computer. I don't know, and I don't know what your color settings are. I know what mine are, so that when I edit it, but So, sometimes I almost let that bother me, and then I say, no, I don't know. Maybe that's what they're seeing on their end. I know what I'm seeing on my end, but it may be totally different. So, yeah, if that could be a pet peeve, I just don't let a whole lot bother me. Number 8, what is your favorite part of being a content creator? Well, I think that's interacting with all of you. And as I said earlier, when one of you walk up to me, whether I'm in Walmart or TJ Maxx, which has happened, or on a cruise ship, which has happened multiple times, I love it. I love it. I think that's the best part. Number 10, do you edit your own content? And if so, do you enjoy it? No. I do edit it, and no, I don't. And I've had a couple of people, Jennifer in particular, say, Mom, why don't you find someone who will edit your videos for you, because it takes hours. And I just sort of feel like I know me, and I know. If I were a huge channel and could pay a professional to do it and make me look wonderful, make everything look wonderful, I might consider it, but no, I'm just going to do it myself. But I get excited about it, and I watch videos on how to do this and how to do that, and I think, oh, I can do that. And when it comes right down to sitting down and doing it, I don't enjoy it. I just want it to be over. And I think sometimes it probably shows in my videos. Okay, number 11, where do you draw the line in regard to sharing on social media? I think you have to be really, really careful. I know that there are some content creators who share their families, and they show their families, and they vlog their families, and you get to know their families probably as well as you know your own. It's almost like we're a part of their family, and I think that's a good thing when it's healthy and done right. A few years ago, many of you know that the YouTube was involved in a big lawsuit when it came to children being filmed, and YouTube made some real hefty, or passed some hefty rules down to us content creators being very, very specific. And one of the things is that we really can't show children in our videos unless they are coded a certain way or marked a certain way. And when we're editing and going through that process and uploading to YouTube, when we're filling out that show more bar down there or that show more box, one of the questions they ask is, does this contain children, images of children or something like that? That's not exact, but that's what it is. And you have to answer yes or no. So they're creators that I've followed that prominently featured their children, just, even though they were makeup channels, have stopped doing it. So they've taken all that content over to Instagram because they can do it there. So I just show glimpses of my grandchildren from time to time when I have permission. But I will say, let's talk about other social media other than YouTube. Instagram, for instance. I have maybe a few thousand followers on Instagram, and I will go on Instagram and just check it a couple of times a day, but I rarely, those of you who follow me on Instagram know that I rarely post there. Rarely. So I'm not big on Instagram. Facebook. The only reason I am still on Facebook is because I use Messenger. And I use Messenger on Facebook because, as many of you know, and I got the call a few minutes ago from the twins, almost every single morning we don't FaceTime, we use the Facebook portal. And the Facebook portal is a little box for us. It's a little box that sits on top of our TV, very small, and it plugs in with an HDMI cord to the TV, and I can call, or they can call me, and rather than FaceTime on your little phone like this or your iPad where you're looking at this little screen, you're seeing each other on the big TV. And that's wonderful. That is wonderful. So I have to have the Facebook app on my phone. And I do check Facebook from time to time. Probably 3 or 4 years ago, I had the links to my Facebook and my other social media accounts in the Show More box. And a couple of years ago, I put a notation by Facebook that I no longer accepted, that I was not very active on Facebook, and I no longer accepted messages or friend requests on Facebook. I am amazed at the number of you who have tried to contact me, and I haven't responded. And it's because I get so many that I just can't. It's defeating the whole purpose, of trying to get off of Facebook. And if I could do the Facebook portal without having the Facebook app on my phone, I would do it. I would do away with Facebook completely. Occasionally, I will see something that I really do like on Facebook that I think is funny, or I feel very strongly about, and I will share it, or I will respond to it. And some of you know that I've shared and responded to some of your Facebook posts, but I rarely post anything original on Facebook. I would like for it to be gone, just gone completely. That's that. Please don't. When I go through and I delete all those messenger messages, it makes me feel bad because I can't stop and respond to every one of them. And there's a lot of spam in there too. So I feel bad about it. But I just can't do it for one and not sort of respond to all of them. And so would ask again that you not request anything. YouTube is my main channel, or my main social media. Okay. Number 12, name one thing you wish you knew when you were starting out. Oh, a lot of things. How to operate a camera. How important lighting is. How to edit. How to upload. How to make a little box right here in the video to show something else when I'm talking about it. Just, all those kinds of things that I had to learn by myself. And 99.9% of them I learned from watching YouTube videos. That's how I've learned. And I know many of us learn that way. Number 13. Is there any change you'd like to make to your content in the future? Yes and no. I think, and you tell me how you feel about it. I can look at the statistics and pretty much know, but I enjoy watching vlogs. Sometimes I just get tired of watching people put on makeup or talk about makeup. And I wonder if people get tired of seeing that from me. But I love to feel good. And I like to watch videos here on YouTube that make me feel good. And so I've dabbled a little bit with vlogging, but I think I would like that. A lot of the experts who are here on YouTube who try to teach those of us content creators how to get more subscribers and how to grow our channels. One of the things I think that's common with them, the advice that they give us is, as I would call it and many of you would call it, don't forget who brought you to the dance. Don't forget the kind of videos that got you right here today, where you started. I think it's really rare that someone, unless they're a huge channel, can switch the whole direction of their channel. You either have to start off that way, or you have to switch it over early on to a different format, or you have to start a new channel maybe and do what you feel drawn to do and still do the thing that you started out with, that you build your audience with. There are different ways to do it, but I know that so many of you watch me because you're really my age, and for whatever reason, you've just found YouTube, and you want to see how other older women do their makeup and their hair and what they wear and why. And so I get that, and I enjoy sharing that. But I would like to incorporate some vlogging into I don't want to start a new channel, but I would like to incorporate more lifestyle, more decorating, more just lifestyle into my videos. Maybe I can do a little bit of both in each video, reckon? We'll see. All right. Number 14. Hey, just 3 more after this. Whew. Number 14. What company / collab is your dream? I don't have one. I really don't. I don't. That's interesting. 15. What other creator do you admire / want to work with? Oh, I admire everybody here who's here on YouTube. I really do. I think if you know, especially at our age, if we think we have something to offer, or we just want to do this for fun, listen, I'm all about it. I am all about it. So you don't see a whole lot of collabs. A few years ago, we were seeing, and I don't consider the tags collabs, but when you have 2 or 3 or more content creators, and they do basically the same subject matter of a video, and they're sending you to those other channels who are doing that same video with them, so that you can have different perspectives of that same subject matter, whether it's makeup or whatever. I've done those in the past, and they're always fun to do. What other creator do you admire, you want to work with? I would work with so many. I can't just name one. Number 16. What kind of content do you hate? I hate controversy. I hate hate. I hate mean. Let's make this clear. Hate, the opposite, okay, the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is indifference, meaning you don't love it and you don't hate it. You don't care. You don't care if you don't want it in your life. It's just, okay. So hate. I'm going to take it, hate, as indifference. I don't care for the gaming channels. I don't hate them, but I'm not interested in them. There's so much here on YouTube. I could go on and on, but, it's not even in my realm of when I open my computer or my phone or my iPad to YouTube, and most of what there's presenting to you or suggesting to you to watch when you open YouTube up every time is based on what you've watched in the past. So, I'm pretty much seeing things that I like, suggested to me that I like, and because I subscribe to people and I've clicked on the little bell, which I hope you'll do for me, I know I'm going to like that. That's what I watch. Very few things pop up in my on my screen that I would say I hate, because that's not what I watch. I'm seeing things that I've indicated to YouTube that I want to watch. All right, number 17. Have you ever had to deal with cancel culture? And if so, how? Not really. Not really. Okay, well, that's it. I don't know how long I've taken here. It's probably, by the time I'll try to edit as much of this out as I can. But that was a fun little tag. And again, I don't know who created it, who authored it to begin with. I know it's been around for a while. And I know I've thought about doing it several times and just never got around to it, sort of put it at the bottom of my list of things to do, but I'm glad I did it. And maybe you learned a little bit more about me and why I do things the way I do. And I do want to say that if you've noticed my voice, I have been down and out sick for the past couple of weeks. Our 5-year-old granddaughter was here visiting with her dad, and she was sort of sick when she got here with that runny nose, and we just thought it was allergies. And she had it for a few days and seemed to be feeling better, and I just didn't think anything about it. And back almost right after she left, just within a few days, I just all of a sudden had everything going on. I was sneezing, I had coughing, and was becoming congested. And at first I thought, well, this is just allergies. I've had more allergies since I've been down here than I've ever had in my life. So I thought, it's just allergies. And after a couple of days when it didn't go away, Jim said, you know, Patty, do you think we need to test you? And like probably all of us, we had test kits that we had gotten that had never been used. We had never even used one of them. And I said, well, maybe I should. I hadn't been out anywhere. And so I tested myself, and it was negative, which made me feel good. You know, by then I'm thinking, well, this is just a cold. And a day or so later, I was not getting any better. And in fact, worse. And I decided to test myself again, and it was negative again. And it is just, you know, I think I'm on the tail end of it, but I don't feel so bad. It's just that I'm coughing. I'm a little bit hoarse, as you can tell from talking, and not sneezing as much as just the runny nose. And so anyway, I think I'm okay. But it's sort of why I haven't been around here lately. I've just sort of stayed in, and I haven't been out of this house in at least 2 weeks. Sort of feel like I was back in the pandemic, except that I don't feel too good. So I think I just have probably whatever my granddaughter had, I got from her. And by the way, she loved her princess bed. She absolutely loved it. Had to promise her that I would never fix this princess bed like this for anybody else. So we made a deal that after she left, I would take the pink netting down and the fairy lights, and she loved those pink satin pillowcases. I would take those and this fluffy white throw, furry, and put it in a plastic storage box and put her name on it, put it away. And the next time she came to visit, and she was the only person here, we didn't need this bed for anybody else, that we would fix this bed up just like it was for her. This would be her princess bed. So she absolutely loved it. She loved being a princess for the week. She was so cute, so cute. Oh, we forget. I will say I was exhausted by the time they left, but it was a good exhaustion, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. All right, well, listen, thank you so much for watching. If you're a content creator and you haven't done this yet, do it. Just do it. I tell you what, I'll list the questions below so that you don't have to go looking for them. You can just look under my video and get the questions. And I'd like to hear what you who are not content creators, but my viewers and subscribers too, I'd like to hear what you think about some of these answers that I gave to these content creator questions or confessions or whatever it was. So let me know. But listen, know that I love you. Don't forget to go out and be kind. Just be kind. Know that I love you, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.